Semi on fire. They're still working on a water supply.
Steve Hickey's career is on a rocket ship.
The prison inmate still on the run that I brought you on Friday before any other local outlet did.
The Seattle area independent journalist is known for being first on the scene and breaking big stories.
Here on a tragedy, this is northbound Canyon.
His easygoing manner and simple delivery attracted more than 1 million followers on his social media platforms.
And I want to say thank you, Jeremy, for helping us out tonight.
And Hickey gives back. Look at this fundraiser for Seattle's Union Gospel Mission.
So they can help families in need.
Speaking of ladder trucks, he's also a King County Fire Commissioner in Ravensdale. An elected position that's earned him trust and respect.
So we thought, oh gosh, he protects and serves the community. Like, what a great guy.
Which is why the mounting allegations of fraud, theft, and intimidation
That's the con man part of it.
run counter to his well-crafted image of simply being one of the good guys in the community.
What happens when you buy a home, there's an old tenant who's been living in there rent-free for the last 2 years, who refuses to leave, leaving you with $1.4 million less dollars?
Earlier this month, YouTube journalist Tyler Oliveira and I exposed Hickey's alleged squatting scheme.
Get out of the house, Steve.
He's still refusing to move out of this expensive house in Ravensdale, even though he has no lease, and all the records show it's now owned by Katrina Freitag.
Is he taking people for their money?
They're now fighting it out in court.
How many more victims are out there?
I don't know how your week's going. Mine's been pretty rough.
In response to our expose, Hickey put out this video.
I've been sifting through a lot of really hateful messages calling for me to physically end myself.
Portraying himself as a victim and taking personal shots at our character.
And now, instead of just continuing through the courts, she's instead recruited a local journalist funded by special interest groups.
But still no evidence proving he has a right to stay in the property. Regardless, this is apparently the tip of the iceberg.
Because he's just wanting to do a hit piece. This is clear.
Now you're making this up now, Steve. If I wanted to do a hit piece, I could have done this 12 days ago. I gave you the benefit of the doubt.
Since the first story aired, more alleged victims have come forward to say Hickey's tentacles run far and wide. And aside from squatting, he's accused of running construction hustles for years.
A sister of a former veteran who says you stole her GoFundMe money. That was for ADA fixes in her house.
Stole anybody's GoFundMe money.
Okay, I'm just saying there are all of these people now coming out.
Before pivoting into media, he owned and operated Meridian Build Group and was seen as a rising star in the industry.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have my good friend Steve Hickey. He's the owner of Meridian Build Group.
He even worked on State Senator Joe Wynn's house in West Seattle.
It's not just write me a check and I promise to do good things.
But around 2018 and into the COVID pandemic, records show mounting complaints and lawsuits against his business.
Stay away from this guy.
Ivan Baca says Hickey failed to pay for heating and air conditioning work on a project, taking off with close to $85,000.
How does that impact your company?
Well, we just lose the money. Our guys did not get the bonuses what they should get, and that's our losses.
According to the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries, Hickey still owes contractors and homeowners close to $400,000.
And he would not respond to us at all.
Jessica and Chris Scotti say they got taken to the cleaners as well and believe there are likely more victims out there.
We started calling suppliers to find out. We already found out 2 liens he left us with, so we go, oh my gosh.
Because of this, Hickey is no longer licensed to operate in Washington.
When he came up with no numbers and it was absolutely just making things up, we knew that we had an issue.
When we brought these concerns to Wynn, he sent us a statement that reads in part, "I had a good experience with Steve, but I am also devastated for the other victims."
Notified multiple agencies.
As we follow the paper trail, court records show Hickey's been sued numerous times for questionable business practices and hit with several judgments. Angel Soriano is a contractor and is out more than $100,000 after laying concrete for Hickey.
He hurt me so bad, hurt my family, hurt my company.
Like all the others, Soriano says he cannot go to the police since this is considered a civil matter.
Whatever comes around goes around, that's what I think.
But says he doesn't have the time or resources for litigation.
There's one God that sees everything,
You believe God's going to handle this?
I think so.
Others say they're too embarrassed to step forward or are genuinely concerned Hickey could retaliate against anyone who complains.
He could ruin me. He just is a charlatan. He's a con man.
This person on the phone worked closely with Hickey during his time at Meridian and wants to remain anonymous. but says he takes advantage of all the legal ins and outs, always staying several steps ahead.
So from my experience in watching what he did, he would tell the contractor they were going to get paid over and over again, or he would get a payment from another job and pay them on that job.
In other words, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Approximately how many alleged victims of Steve Hickey do you know?
5.
Wow. That's now nearly 30 people that we're aware of.
I know.
And the amount of time and...
Interior design company owner Joe Cordray says Hickey stiffed him for more than 30 large.
I mean, he never had any intention of paying at all.
He says Hickey counts on alleged victims giving up instead of fighting through a long, drawn-out legal process.
Court battles and legal expenses,
which is why he keeps getting away.
So is this like his playbook?
100%.
However, it appears Hickey's house of cards is now starting to fall apart. Aside from alleged victims of construction fraud, he's now accused of abusing his position and power as commissioner at Fire District 47. South King County Fire Captain Bradley Cheney sent out a scathing email to all public information officers in the region, warning them about Hickey's unprofessional behavior. Cheney also says several first responders complained about Hickey, concerned he was using his commissioner's badge to access highly sensitive situations in the field, then live streaming it all on social media without giving a heads up to the cops and firefighters on scene.
Be voluntarily leaving.
He's now on administrative leave from the fire station pending the outcome of this investigation.
Could you explain what that means for the public?
That was launched because of our reporting.
Could you tell us why you've decided to take a leave of absence?
I have no comment.
I confronted Hickey about all the new accusations, but for the first time, he's choosing to stay silent.
Folks have said that you haven't paid subcontractors. Also, there are numerous liens. According to L&I, multiple people have filed lawsuits. Could you explain why those people are doing that? You plan on paying anyone back, Steve?
As Hickey rushed to avoid my questions, he also clearly blew through a stop sign, potentially adding to his legal woes.
We're going to see you at some sort of national news thing.
Hickey is now on a crisis management tour, hoping to salvage what's left of his reputation. Many of his followers online remain blindly loyal, dismissing the damning evidence. But even some of his supporters acknowledge he's losing badly in the court of public opinion and needs a legal win to get back on track.
I think it's going to continue to stay pretty hyper-local.
As for Freitag, she doesn't necessarily want Hickey canceled and also believes in redemption if all his alleged victims are made whole. But she wants to make sure this never happens again.
You need to be courageous and have the integrity.
And wants Attorney General Bob Ferguson's office to look into Hickey's companies.
To do what's best for the greater good.
That's why Freitag is urging more victims to step forward so they can collectively seek accountability, not just against Hickey, but against Washington state lawmakers who have allowed these absurd squatting and deadbeat tenant situations to spiral out of control.